So next week I was playing in London.
Wow.
Where we won at Roehampton. At Roehampton Golf Course, they used to close down the golf course, and the polo field went right along the front of the clubhouse.
Wow.
They closed the golf off for a week or something, and then have to play polo. Anyway, we won the Harrison Cup, which was the junior championship of England, at the second game I'd ever played.
Right.
So I'm trying to learn the rules even at this stage. Anyway, then the fellow said to me, "Would you like to go to Argentina?"
It's funny when they say, "Would you like to?" It's like, of course.
I said, "Shit." I probably swore and said, "Shit, would I ever?" Anyway, next minute, I was going to Argentina. This is in 1954, 20 years before you two were born. Anyway, 54.
30.
So, yeah, off I went. No, what happened was, someone then asked me, would I play in France? Oh, would I ever?
Would I ever?
This fellow that said, the Argentine, Tito Lalor, said, well, I have 7 brothers, and we'll all lend you a horse when you get to Buenos Aires.
Oh, wow.
When I got... then they said to me that there's not much transport in Argentina. That cars are a bit scarce. I said, well, that's amazing. You fed Germany and us in 2 world wars. I mean, you fed Germans with wheat and us with meat and wheat. But they fed, the ships used to, half of them went to Germany and half of them went to England. So the amount of money they made was absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, I said, that's funny. But having known that was the case, I went down to Southampton and booked my Morris Minor to Buenos Aires. While my Morris Minor was going down to Buenos Aires in the ship, I went to France and played polo in Deauville for a month in August 1954, where we won the Junior European Championship or something. I don't know what they called it. Anyway, it was great fun. I was playing polo with Ruby Rosa, who was sort of Zaza Gabor's lover. And
Zaza Gabor.
Zaza Gabor's lover. She was too fat for her. I didn't
What'd you call her?
She was all...
Bulbous. Is that what you called her? Bulbous? What did you call her?
She was a bit bulbous.
Bulbous.
That's quite a good description.
But when she smiled, you sort of said, oh, Jesus, you are beautiful. But, you know, below the neck was pretty big. But anyway, she was lovely, because she used to call me Kangaroo. Anyway, where have you been, Kangaroo? I said, I've been working the horses, or something. Anyway, coming around to the best part of the story. We had a lot of fun like that, and then I went to Buenos Aires, and I played with a team in Buenos Aires when I was 19. And we won the junior championship, which is called the Copa Los Stimula, which is the stimulant cup for the youth.
Oh, that's quite good, isn't it?
Anyway,
Then
I came back, Then, so having all this lovely connection, when I was in England, and by this time I'd become a 10-goal polo player, which is the best there is in the world. I mean, there were 3 10s in the world, me and 2 others. When I was 10, they put me on 10, I don't know why, but they seemed to think it was all right. But the point was that when I was in England, I went over and said hello to, you know, the royal boxes here and all the crowds along here. So I went over and said hello to the Prince Philip. Hello, sir. How are you?
it's a bit of a character.
Oh, Sinclair, where have you been? Oh, wonderful to see you. Would you mind giving the boy a bit of a tuition? The boy, Prince Charles. So next minute, I'm actually teaching Prince Charles at 7 o'clock in the morning underneath the chestnut tree on the southern side of Windsor Castle.
Wow.
And I'm down there running around in the dew, ruined all my shoes. And then we ended up going to I think it was the party the party before Diana. See, I knew Prince Charles before Diana.
Oh, wow.
I used to teach him to play, and we'd be talking about how to find a decent girl. And I'd be rolling, when it was raining, which was quite often, we'd go into what's called the orangery, which is a great big glass area of the castle, which is England puts orange trees so they can grow oranges
inside.
like they do in Spain without the glass. Because up there,
in Australia they won't do that because there's a lovely orange tree at Turlings, isn't there? So.
but in England you can't have oranges because it's too cold. Anyway, mustn't get off the track here because the punchline's coming. So during, what made me think about it is because of my contribution, I'm not too sure what, they gave me an OBE. So when we went to this party at Buckingham Palace, which we were invited to, now I'm in my second life because I was with Wendy at this stage, they said, they'll give you an OBE. It's a great big thing here, like the thing with a cross and it's a big medal. But when you wear a dinner jacket, you've got to wear miniatures. And when they give you the OBE, they don't give you the miniature. You've got to go and buy the miniature.
Oh, that's different.
So off I go down to Christie's, which is the military shop in Sydney, and I buy the miniature. I have to show my credentials and everything to show that I can have one of these things. So in the minute I pay, and it cost $7.50. I've always remembered. I said, "Well, it's really rather amazing this bloody medal, and it only cost $7.50." I mean, anyone would think we're in Woolworths.
Woolworths.
Anyway, lovely little medal. Yeah. Obviously, I've still got it with a lovely little thing at the top. Which you put, it looked very lonely when it was sitting there with my beautiful black dinner jacket, black tie, everything. We're in Buckingham Palace. And a great friend of mine came up to me, who actually is a lady in waiting at the Queen. I don't know about the moment, but at some stage she was one of the girls that helped the Queen change her underwear or do something. I don't know what she did, but her name was Philippa de Pass.
Oh, well, that's good.
Now, Robert de Pass was a great friend of mine who was playing at the same time. He played for the Mariners. The Mariners were a team of Navy people playing polo, instituted by Mountbatten. But they had Fritz Phillip used to play, Robert de Pass used to play, a fellow called Mortimer, someone that doesn't matter who they were, but they played, and that's when I was sort of got to know the Prince, and he sort of said about my timing's got to improve.
All the old characters.
Anyway, and they were very fond of me because I was so unusual thrown into a group of very classic English behaviour. Philippa de Pass came up to me when I was wearing my dinner jacket with my little lonely thing here and said, "Sinclair, where did you get that?" Thinking I'd pinched it or something. "Where did you get that?" I said, "I bought it for $7.50. And then she started to twig that maybe he did win this thing, maybe he hasn't bought. And then she sort of went all hugged, because she hadn't seen me for years. So she hugged me and everything, but she really thought for a minute that I may have bought the bloody thing and might have got it by surreptitious means.
It's quite good. But it's true, you have bought it.
Anyway, one day, it was true because I said I bought it for $7.50. And of course that was really confused her because then she thought, well, maybe he has bought the bloody
thing.
Such
a caddy boy.
Maybe he just went in and bought one and wearing it for fun. Anyway, to tell you honest truth, on that day, in the hall, Buckingham Palace Hall, going down the bloody hall, well, the hall's as wide as from here to that green tree.
Wow.
We're inside, you know.
Yeah.
And there are people walking past like this, you know, the big bloody blue things around there here, and another one coming with a big blue thing here, and another one with a bloody, these are men, with a thing hanging around their neck like that with a sort of great medallion there. Various of these royals and foreign royals and all this sort of stuff. I said to Patrick Beresford, a great friend of mine, I said, "Patrick, come here. Look at these people walking thing round here, it's a duke.
Yeah.
I said, what about this fella, next fella walking down? He said, he's a CBE KMG or something, you know? I said, oh, really? And the next one comes, and Patrick's really sort of amazing looking gear with things long here and things.
Oh, yeah.
I said, what's this fella, Patrick? He said, oh, don't take your nose of him, foreign royal. Anyway, on the same night, Harry Seacombe, you're so young, he
I
died.
recognise the names though.
Harry Seacombe was a marvellous, he with Spike Milligan
Oh, okay.
is a famous Australian
He's comic.
psych. I mean,
Yeah.
character. I mean, he was a psychopathic comic. I mean, amazing intellectual wisdom.
Yeah, he does all these amazing drawings. That's good.
No, not bloody the fellow that had up for chasing babies.
No, that's not
We've got an
Harry.
Australian over there called Ralph Harris.
Yes.
Who's been,
Yeah, but Spike Milligan does cards and stuff. Yeah, I
but
know.
so Spike Milligan never got into the babies.
No.
But I can tell you what, Spike Milligan was the funniest fellow I've ever. And I've spent half an hour with him in this Buckingham Palace Hall because obviously he's been invited because he's an amazing character. And Harry Seacombe. And the other partner in the Goons
Oh yeah.
wasn't there, he died. It's a very funny fellow, the other fellow. But Harry Seacombe's got a voice like, got to be heard to be believed. I mean, a tenor voice. So in the hall he starts to sing when all these royals are walking. The foreign royals are sort of floating down the hall. Anyway, there's a very ordinary suburb of north of Sydney called Woy Woy, which is a sort of a waterway, but a bit of a sort of a, it's not a bloody very exciting area, it's pretty slummy. Anyway, Spike Milligan says, Sinclair, you don't realise that I was born in Woy Woy.
Oh.
It's a great place if you've got a weekend.
We've got a weekend. Yeah, that's all you need. There's some places in England like that. I think it's sort of like, oh, go there for the weekend.
Anyway, nice to spend a few moments with you.
Yeah, I apologise.
Seen you enough of you and
No, but I spent the week in work clothes.